I got an interesting comment on one of the evolution creation studies I've done and posted on YouTube. Here is one of them. And interesting, the approach to analyzing and responding to important subjects like what happened with life, how did it arrive, what about creation of the universe. Thus, that's an important subject because we might have something to respond to and to do with it, which, if you're a Christian, it's a big thing, eternal life. Anyway, here's how it goes. My critic, what causes morons like this to publish videos on scientific topics they know nothing about? My answer, I don't know. I'm just a moron. And he goes, for example, macroevolution, speciation, has been directly observed on several occasions. Microevolution, I was speaking about as well, but he just talks about macro from one species to the next. I don't know how you can observe missing link. So far, evolutionists haven't found one, but I ask, what occasions were those? Please be specific. Were you there over the expanse of time to observe it directly? How old are you? More than 1 billion years old? You cannot properly scientifically observe, repeat, and falsify any evolution, any event of any kind that exceeds your own lifespan. And you may see a horse over here and a dog over there. I don't know if one evolved into the other. You can draw some similarities. They mostly have 4 legs, unless they got injured. But you have to be around a long time. Lots of examples. Tens of thousands of years, perhaps. I don't know. Well, anyway, he says, when some scientists say nothing existed before the Big Bang, it is not nothing in the way that this idiot thinks of it. I guess I'm going to have to go to the court system and have my name changed. It means matter and antimatter directly offset each other and cancel each other out so that the universe appeared as nothing. But the matter and antimatter existed prior to the Big Bang. That hasn't been proved. Besides, the word nothing in the dictionary doesn't have anything to do with matter and antimatter, except in a particular context like he's designing. But I say, when the earth and the universe were created out of nothing, I meant nothing. Dictionary defines how words are to be used, and context points to the particular definition to be applied within that context. Matter-antimatter is a possibility, a model of how things were created. I don't have scientific proof either way. But most people have a lot of different other ideas that are in the same schooling that this fella is. The existence of matter and antimatter means that something exists, not nothing. If they cancel each other out so that they are measured as nothing, does it mean that neither the matter nor the antimatter existed and both can be called nothing, as if there was nothing there in a point in space at any time? The context for nothing in my sentence that you refer to does not assume evolution to be proved, but does assume that the Bible's explanation of the beginning of the universe is to be allowed to be considered, refuted, or corroborated by an objective examination of related points that can be scientifically arrived at. The point here is the word nothing means out of nothing. Now, if a designer is so powerful and so intelligent to be able to do that, then it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Okay, I'll go along with that. The probability of that is much greater than evolution. The Bible's use of the word rendered nothing means nothing, according to the dictionary, not two things that cancel each other out. This guy goes on. For example, scientists and inquiries into the origin of life. Sometimes something this guy says they can't address. Wrong. Well, wait a minute. One cannot inquire into the origin of life scientifically by observing that origin, repeating that origin, and falsifying that origin because it's not observable, repeatable, or falsifiable. It happened one time, and we're not old enough or smart enough or intelligent enough to actually duplicate it, if we can at all. You can have an opinion level on what you know can be scientifically proved that relates to the subject, which is usually microscopic in comparison, and thereby arrive at a well-conceived model, though, which he is not trying to do. At least some evolutionists say, well, let's look at this and this and this and see which is more plausible, the evolutionary model or the creation model. He doesn't even bother. Just evolution is right, it's scientifically proved, creation is dog meat. Scientists speculate that the first life form was a relatively simple self-replicating molecule. Notice that your word speculate does not lead to a scientific conclusion, does it? And then, for example, and he goes into RNA, which I just posted the previous creation versus evolution YouTube on this. Several examples, one of which he gives me, and it does not quite meet what he says it does. The RNA world is a hypothetical stage in the evolutionary history of life on Earth, in which the self-replicating RNA molecules proliferated before the evolution of DNA and proteins. Well, the article says, well, we don't know whether it came first or second. Hypothetical implies speculation, not a scientific conclusion. Furthermore, you have presumed that the origin of life is evolutionary in order to conclude that life is evolutionary. That's kind of illogical, unscientific, circular reasoning. We're going to investigate whether or not bees exist, and here's something we think a bee is. No, it's not an A, it's not a C. Hey? Oh, you don't know what I was talking about. Scientists have created such homeostatic, self-replicating RNA molecules that independently populate at an exponential rate, and they can undergo Darwinian evolution. We haven't stipulated exactly what Darwinian evolution is scientifically. There's so many variations and permutations and so many different opinions from Darwin on up that we can't have a model to compare it to because we don't have Darwinian proved out for anything. Again, hypothetical and not life. A molecule is not life. And abiogenesis is not the same as biogenesis. So we looked at RNA, the experiments that he provided, and it provided another chemical compound. Yes, repeatedly. But it's still non-life chemicals. So you can look at these different points here, but this is about all, nothing particular, nothing I can learn from. I could be wrong. But I haven't been wrong since 1942. Just a joke. I'm 80, nearly. All right. Now what about the other one? I posted this on a reply. Don't know if it came through. But the fellow says a comparison of evolution and creationism, apples and oranges right off the bat. Creationism offers an explanation for literally everything, which it does not. Where the planets and stars and seahorses and granites and dandelions come from. You left out cell phones. Apples and oranges. Both creationism and evolution are not scientific because neither can be observed, repeated, fully experimented upon, nor falsified, i.e. compared to controlled experiments that rule out or other points of view such as string theory, alternate universes, various models of creationism based on different religious books. Both creationism based on a proper interpretation of the Bible, on the other hand, following the proper rules of reading you learned in grammar school, language, context, and logic, and evolution are models that have countless opinions not scientifically proved that you describe as explanations. Glad you did that, because it's not scientific. Both are models, neither theories nor laws. So enjoy your apples amongst your oranges. It's good to have a mixed fruit salad. They don't prove anything. Plus, it offers an explanation even for the origin of intangible phenomena like happiness and souls. It also, talking about creationism, contains a justification for religion and faith. Actually, it does not offer specific details on a human level for intangible phenomena like happiness. Soul is a word defined in the dictionary as a number of things which are not tangible, such as the expression of an individual or the total self or a soul as opposed to a body and a spirit. Check out your dictionary when all else fails. When you define a word, good to check Noah Webster. Creation is also, as a religious dogma, not subject to questioning, revision, or falsification, those all being technically heretical, if not outright blasphemous. According to who? There's so many different religions. Maybe one is right, maybe a lot of them are right, maybe all are wrong. Give me some specifics. Never said it was not religious, did I? Creationism is religious, and so is evolution. It's a religious point of view. It's based on believing something and then trying to find evidence to prove it out, but you're not going to be able to repeat it, falsify it, or test it out, or observe it at all. Although at the end of creation, we're going to have the heavens and the earth destroyed, and God will recreate the universe for us to watch how it's done. Isn't that amazing? If that's true, and I don't find any errors in the Bible to say it's not, or any errors in the Bible at all so far after 30 years of study and 30,000 pages of study notes. So I'm going to go with it until something better comes along. Got anything better? So reread what I said. Both creationism and evolution are religious in nature, based more on a belief system than upon provable facts, which are observable, repeatable, and falsifiable. Never said it was not subject to questioning, revision, or falsification, did I? Reread what I've said carefully. Follow the rules of reading. Don't be a politician and restructure and cherry pick. Biblical information is not necessarily religious dogma. That is not true. Most interpreters of the Bible profess an inaccurate interpretation and dictate to their followers that it is true because they say it is true. You go to a church, best thing you can do is shut up and listen. Otherwise, you'll be shown the door, which I've been shown many times. But a correct interpretation of the Bible is not the same. It is reliable. Just try reading the Bible correctly yourself, and if you are honest and objective, you will see what I mean. Follow the proper rules of reading like you learned in grammar school. Here's a heads-up grammar lesson on this. Just go to the website, BibleStudyManuals.net, and look up this file, properb.htm, and it's simply a description of how to read something accurately. It could be anything. A recipe for spaghetti. You know, you don't cook the water before you put it in the pot. Your statement, technically heretical, if not outright blasphemous, makes no linguistic or contextual sense. Please explain, and I'll respond. You say also, Darwin's theory of evolution is different in every way. It offers a tentative explanation of one observed phenomena, biological diversity. Well, so does the Bible reflect upon biological diversity, implying observation. Uses the word kind instead of species. Well, okay. This diversity had to have been created the first time in order for species to exist within the time frame that evolutionists offer for the age of the universe. For man to have evolved would have taken far longer than the universe is considered by evolutionists to be old. I'm just using your numbers. It is far more plausible for an intelligent designer to have done it all at once so that interdependencies amongst species that we can observe today of plants, animals, mammals, birds, man, and so on would immediately be established, thus ensuring the survival of each of the species throughout the years, according to evolutionists. Got to have them there all at once. And guess what the entire spectrum of species was created in? The time spectrum. 6 literal 24-hour days. Yeah. It's quite an intelligent designer. You know, the giraffe, if it did not have that little sponge at the middle of its neck, would have killed itself the first time it bent down to drink water and then went straight up. The pressure of the heart pounding would have blown its brains out. That sponge had to be there. How many sponges, size-wise and position-wise, no sponges, how many giraffes were destroyed over billions and billions of years? The universe has to be a lot older than the evolutionists think it is, just for the giraffe to evolve. Or mankind's blood clotting system. How many times did that not work and destroyed the whole species and they'd start all over again? How about an intelligent designer? That's it. That's all it does. It says nothing about where anything came from. Well, I'm talking, yeah, okay, you look at Darwin and you get, that's all you get out of it. Actually, you can get implication more than that. But you are ignoring the vast amount of material that offers explanations of origin, such as the Big Bang Theory, alternate universes, string theory, the herd of elephants in the room. The Bible is ignored, yet the Big Bang Theory, et al., all those other theories that evolutionists try to perform, are just as much philosophical ideology as those in the Bible. But the Bible has no contradictions or errors, even in the predictions it makes and what it presents.